Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to Bringers of the Light Sunday, where we're going to play. Before I go into anything, I'm going to start off right away by wrapping us all in love light and light love. Inviting in the guides who overlight TLC for the soul, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Pleiadians, and a host of other spirit friends. Let's take a couple deep breaths together. So we can invite in the energies of this now, of this week ahead, as we like to do with the story we're working on, the book we're working on together, Bringers of the Light, Maui, Hula High. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome in, get settled, get yourself something to drink. I'm drinking Milo's family made since 1946 sweet tea and lemonade. Oh, and the little stamp says good through 1444. I guess that's a time. I got a time stamp. Good through 1444, June 21st, 2024. Okay. Oh my gosh. I always say the guides like to be cheeky. Are y'all showing off? They like to show, they're not showing off, but before we get into the chapter, I want to just kind of talk about where we're at energetically right now. There's like some ascension stuff. I'm picking up the phone. I see June 9th, 234. We're going one step at a time. And I think as I was kind of preparing for the show, before I hit record, I channeled in the chapter a little bit earlier. And I said, I need just another few minutes to just assimilate what's going on, what we want to share, me and the guides want to share. And I think one of the biggest questions that I keep having, and it's already coming out in these little number sequences that I'm seeing on these stuff, this sweet tea and lemonade is really good, is, are we already on this new promised path? This one that we keep hearing about over and over again about, the path of all the rewards and all the new stuff. Well, there's always a new path, but all the stuff you've been wishing for, and are we already on that path? And when I've asked in the past, they keep saying yes, as of the 12/12 and the solstice last December, that many of you, maybe not every single one of you, because everybody's got a little bit of a different trajectory going on, but many of you, especially the people that have been here for quite some time at TLC for the Soul, have already stepped into this new energy stream. They're saying life wave. Life wave. That's a nice way to put it. The ebbs and flows, the life wave. And even though you haven't seen any sort of radical shifts from December to June 9th, 234, that doesn't mean you're not on the path. This new, they just keep saying this new. You're on it. And I think there's this feeling like, well, nothing looks any different. Still the same daily grind. That's kind of mine. Like, it's still the same daily grind. I'm still waking up. And they're like, okay, take a step back and pull out of that, because not pull out, but pull back from that and, look around, and you can see evidence that things have been shifting and changing since, they told many of us, the majority of our shadow work and karmic clearing stuff was done as of December last year. They said there's been plenty of evidence and confirmations that it's not the same old 2024 as every other year, or it's not the same old 2024. You can see evidence of the new kind of creeping in and seeping in to your field. And granted, they're saying, there haven't been these huge like fireworks moments yet, like the grand life changes that we all get so excited about, the really big ones that, they keep, number one, reassuring us, obviously they're out there. But number two, you wouldn't want those happening all the time, right? You wouldn't want these giant, fireworks moments constantly. The big ones like death and birth and marriage and divorce and I don't know what else, new jobs and retirement. I guess those are some really big ones, right? Retiring and someone passing away. Like, you wouldn't want those constantly happening in your life, right? And when they do happen, they happen very quickly. But there's these moments leading up to these things. That's the long, arduous push, the step by step to get to a fireworks moment. Okay. So I'm like, yes, that's fine. That's true. You wouldn't, mainly firework. I'm going to just call them fireworks moments because why not? I think it does have something to do with freedom codes for the month of July as well. And we are, as part of this whole series we're doing now, we're kind of firmly on the road to Lionsgate starting this month. But fireworks moments, I think, are the ones that are kind of built into your life path or your, I keep seeing the red thread everywhere. So built into your fate, built into your destiny. I keep seeing little red ropes and little red threads and little red little red strings and stuff everywhere in the past couple of weeks. Those are the ones that are built into your destiny pre-incarnation. And of course, you don't know mainly when they're going to happen. They just happen when they happen. But the road to getting to them is kind of one where you have more of a choice over how you approach that destiny plan or that journey. And, we just keep getting reminded. It's like parrot guidance or confirmation of, you are on the right path. You are getting there. Sometimes the path is long. Sometimes it takes some detours, but it's never not the path that you're supposed to be on. Now, based on your free will choice, you could, you could take the, what was it? We said it was called something else. We did a whole experiential show on this. You could take the castle path or the lone wolf path. I think there's some different paths you could have gone off on. Could have led you on some little bit of a longer journey where maybe more lessons were learned. But it doesn't mean you don't like rejoin, and keep going towards these, life moments and the things that you want and all of that. So today was one of those days, I just woke up and I'm like, what is going on today? It just feels like a kind of a little bit of a void space. And I feel like the solstice energies next week are starting to slowly like trickle in. Like if you sit with the energy, and there's some of you that are really good at this, if you just sit with the energy and tap into it, you can kind of see around the peripherals, the new coming through. And with the channel chapter today for Hula High, when we left off last week, Bunny and Kea'ali in Bringers of the Light Maui, we're getting ready to go on a Road to Hana car trip. And whenever we get references to the Road to Hana, and I have not been on it personally. I've watched, some way showers talk about it. I've watched people like go on the road and it's pretty, like windy, and there's some things you can stop and do along the way, but it's like kind of treacherous and the roads are tricky. And when I looked back at the beginning of the year, that was the Road to Hana was our whole overarching theme for 2024. But in addition to being a tricky path with lots of like switchbacks and, all these like one lane bridges and traffic and, stops along the way, it's also a very spiritual path, or a very spiritual journey to take. Because you're going along some of the more sacred, well, to me, all of Hawaii is sacred, but you go, like all of Earth is sacred, but you go along these very spiritual places along the Road to Hana, and a lot of them you can't get to. They're forbidden for, outsiders to come in. So the bringers of the light, especially in this book series, is you, it's me, it's all of us. If you're new here, the energies of the weekly chapters obviously end up going into a book. And I did drop the first 2 chapters of Hula High as an audiobook form yesterday. If you're new or you just want to catch up like where we've been over the past 3 or 4 weeks, the work that we've done together, you can catch up like that. We're on chapter 4. And I always kind of write these with many intentions. Number one, that they be fun and magical and mystical and earth magic-y, but that they also be healing workbooks. I haven't quite determined what kind of healing this little book is doing or having for us yet. It is yet to be seen, I think. And also that each chapter that we talk about in the Bringers of the Light Sundays is also indicative of the energies of the week ahead. So at the end, they all do end up showing up in a book as a cute little, magical story. But right now we're going to focus on chapter 4, and we read the chapter as I channeled it in. All of my work is done via automatic writing. I don't want to go like, I don't do this, I don't do that. Because some of you have been here a while, you're like, oh, we're going to hear it again. But it's like, we don't really plan out chapters. They just come via direct downloads through the channeling, through my fingers and out onto the keyboard. And for the past couple of chapters now, it seems like we've been in this preparation mode, leading up to something. And I'm like, as I brought this chapter in this morning, I'm like, are Kay and Bunny ever going to get on this freaking road to Hana? You'll see here in just a minute when we read it, because I feel like they've been in this preparation mode for the past couple of 2-3 chapters. And I'm like, this is just like the longest. Like, get on with it, all right? And I pulled a couple of cards in advance for the week ahead. I'm like, what is this week ahead all about? And I got the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords, 2 knights. The Knight of Wands is a masculine figure on a horseback with a wand, which to me looks like a sword, but it looks like he's in a very deserty environment, and he has like, like it's really hot somewhere and you like wrap a towel around your head because you don't have anything else, or maybe he wet this towel in the local stream or river and put around his head, and it looks like it's very hot and dry where he's at. So maybe some of you divine masculine. It does look very red rocks, or the rocks that are in, I know some of you are live in this area, but like the Utah, New Mexico kind of Pueblo kind of area, those rocks too that look, those rock walls that look all stripy. Is that the Utah? This is a spiritual sight coming through. I won't. The ones with the no, my God, am I gonna have to stop and look it up? Hold on a second. It's not Red Rocks. It's another one, and I can't. No, because that's Colorado. Come on. I'm going to get there sooner or later. Yeah, this is the journey. Fraggles. I can't even. It reminds me of like Moab, which I've been through many times, and I've always had really weird experiences there. Grand Staircase National. Yeah, Moab is on here. San Rafael Swell, St. John, Arches. The Arches National Park. That one. Bryce Canyon. Those areas is what this card looks like. Camp amidst the hoodoos. Sleep beneath the dark sky. Park stars. Camping in Bryce Canyon. Yes. I know some of you live there. But, yeah, that's what this card looks like. And where did the card go? Kind of disappeared. And it looks like we're over there. And I've always had these very mystical, very star-seedy encounters when I've gone through Moab and driven through that area. Very weird encounters. Very, yeah, very Men in Black. The other side of the card is the Knight of Swords, and it's a female figure, a feminine figure on a black horse. So the Knight of Wands in the Arches State Park, or wherever the heck he's at, is on a white steed. The Knight of Swords, she's on a black horse, very indicative of the Chariot, a white and a black animal, or a white and a black thing moving forward. She's surrounded. She is in like green grass, and it looks like poppies. Maybe she's in Oz. The grass has like flowers in the shape of like hearts, but it looks like poppies. She's got like these really cute sandals on, and this beautiful long flowing yellow skirt and a green sweater. And the sky is super like turquoise blue behind her. There's like barely any clouds in the sky, and she's holding, the horse is like, total, what is it, on the hind legs, rearing up, and she's like ready to go with that sword up in the air. The divine masculine figure in the Knight of Wands, who's over in, the Arches State Park or whatever. It's just, I don't know why he's the Knight of Wands, because he's super chill. Maybe he's just super chill. He's super chill. He's just holding that wand up, and his horse is just standing there like he's waiting for instructions, like, where do I go next? What do I do? And looks super confident. He doesn't look angry. He doesn't look excited. He just has this like super just relaxed look on his face. Like, okay, whatever, kind of like, okay, whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. And this divine feminine figure is like, let's get on with it already. Okay, so that could be the divine feminine, the divine masculine in you, rather than two people. If it's the divine masculine, divine feminine within you, then it looks like the week ahead is going to be more of an intuitive, divine feminine focused week, because this horse is just really moving. And the masculine looks like, it kind of looks like divine feminine intuitive power, whatever comes through your intuition. Then the divine masculine side of you is like, okay, I'm ready to take action on that. Just tell me what I need to do. That's kind of it. If it's two separate people, like you and somebody else, and you are the divine feminine, or it depends on who you are. If you're the divine masculine, it looks like you're just like, okay, I'm ready to keep going on this journey, and guess I'll get there eventually. There's just seems like very content. And the divine feminine person is like, can we just hurry up and get on with this already? Let's just go. I gotta keep drinking my sweet tea and lemonade, my Milos. All right, so let's read the chapter then. And before I do that, what I do want to say too is I want to come back to these timestamps on this bottle of sweet tea and lemonade before I go any further. It says good through 1444, which 144 is always to me a bringers of the light number. It's like bringers of the light unite. It's an activation code for me. You can see it whatever way you want to see it. It's everybody has their own interpretations of things. But for me, when I see 144, it's like you're on your path. You're on your spiritual mission. You're doing the work. You're doing the thing. You are... They just keep saying, you're on it. You're doing it. You're on it. It's fine. Nothing to worry about. This number also has 444 in there. Very stable, very secure, building solid foundations. All is well. Even if you think you're not moving forward or doing anything, things are happening in the background to help bring in harmony. It also does say good through 1444, June 21st, 2024, which is the solstice. And there's going to be a lot more talk in this chapter about building portals again. We've been talking about portals now since I think the beginning of May. Portals has been this big thing. Yeah, because the 5-5, we worked with Diana Cooper. We we built some portals. We didn't build one. We asked how to get your words together. We built some portals. It's like they're stopping me. I can't talk. We built some portals. So portals is a big thing. So let's read the chapter together. Maybe I'm waffling and I'm taking a long time. All right, let's see. Let's just tuss out. So if you're new here, you can listen to this as just a fun chapter, a continuation in the other chapters so far. Or you can call in your guides and listen with your master senses and tease out any other metaphors in this reading that I'm going to do that might pertain to you. Sometimes it's places, people, things, situations. You may catch them and I may not always catch them because the guides have me bring out the ones that are most need to be heard or that we most need to diatribe on for the collective that's listening. Okay. So when we last left chapter 3, we had a lot of people that had come in. Kay and Bunny were going to have a fun night of like grilled fish and desserts and dancing under the moonlight. And a bunch of aunties had come and given them all these little gifts and stuff. And then they were going to go the next morning on the Road to Hana trip. And that's where we drop in here with chapter 4, The Journey Beckons. Kay had the Jeep packed and ready to go before sunrise. He made a smoothie of coconut water, brown rice powder, and blue-green algae, throwing in a banana and some peanut butter to make it more substantial. Bunny, on the other hand, had a taco of sweet poi and her favorite meatless crumbles tossed together with green goddess dressing and some falafel. Each one was happy with their choice and excited for the journey ahead. What would happen on the road to Hana this time, they each wondered. The last trip up and back had been met with strange delays, unexpected mechanical difficulties, and a little bit of arguing. Not with each other, but with others who seemed to magically show up and offer the most nonsensical advice. So much so that Kay had to wave them on, lest he break out in a diatribe of why said advice just didn't make any sense. This time, however, a great luck was on their side, and unbeknownst to the pair, a great justice was to happen to them on this trip. You see, one cannot go on forever in one direction without then being pulled up and out to the other direction. And Bunny and Kay had seen a downturn over the last cycle of their lives. But now, though, things had seemed to be looking very positive. Maybe a little too positive. Bunny worried a little about the future. And even though she'd received many confirmations that things were turning for the better, she still had that one memory of a long time ago where it seemed like her luck had been at its worst. She never wanted to repeat that part of her life, and she hoped the lessons she's learned during that time would keep her from having something similar happen in the future. Kay took a drink of his smoothie and then decided to also bring along a cup of iced coffee just in case he felt tired on the drive. He and Bunny would share the driving, but he liked to do most of it because of the tricky twists and turns of the trip. When Bunny drove, she always lurched the Jeep along, braking and then gunning the little four-cylinder and forcing his stomach into knots. Finally, they were both ready, and the Jeep, packed with an ice chest full of chicken salad, hoagie sandwiches, Jell-O mold, and fresh veggies, and the requisite clothing changes they might require, was ready. They stood in front of the Jeep, and as was customary in Maui, they raised a toast of coconut water in a little glass and asked the spirits of the island to give them safe passage. They set intentions that whatever they needed to see or learn on this journey be shown to them. And they prayed to their helping spirits to protect them from any hijinks along the way. With everything covered, spiritual and material, they hopped into the Jeep and set off on this new adventure. On the other side of the island, at the end to the Hana journey, a group of old Death Marcher spirits sat at the ready. They had work to do in order to open the many portals that the god Maui had requested of them to do. Why so many portals? And what were they being used for? The Death Marchers were not privy to that higher level of intel. They only knew they had work to do, and they hoped no unsuspecting travelers who might inadvertently wander off the path would get in their way tonight, or else. That's it. The next chapter, the title I channeled in was A Dusting of Sugar. So I think they're finally going to get somewhere on this trip. Next week would be the solstice. And there's something about all these portals that have been open since the beginning of May. And I read Diana Cooper's newsletter for June. And she had written that people had, I guess, I don't know how she knew this. People have sent her messages or Spirit told her or whatever. But she said that there had been I think over 13,000 portals opened up last month. New portals opened up. She said, thank you all amazing souls who participated. I'm awed and delighted to say that between 9 to 10,000 of these incredibly high frequency portals were open and activated, and they are on every continent. This raised the frequency so much that another 13,000 people were able to merge with their monads. And then she gave instructions again about how you can create them. That was a really good newsletter. So what they're doing essentially is helping people raise their consciousness, helping people awaken, and bringing greater balance to they're like tipping the scales on the ascension of the planet. So we're not exactly sure what these Death Marcher portals are that they're opening. It's probably some of the same stuff. And the Death Marchers don't like to be bothered when they do their work. They're very serious about it. All this talk about food, I don't know what it is. Like it's the season for food. Maybe so, because in the summer, my word with the words, see, you would think Mercury is my ruling planet. It's summer in the upper hemisphere. It seems like somebody else is talking through me. It's summer up here, and oh goodness. And so there's all these summery goodness, I don't know about some of their food choices. Some of them to try some of these. Coconut water, brown rice powder, blue-green algae, banana, and peanut butter. My Vitamix has been raring to go. It made me move it to a new location where I could see it more prominently or something. Kind of like, let's get going with these smoothies. The taco poi, I don't have access to poi here. Meatless crumbles, green goddess dressing, falafel. That sounds kind of good. I might do that. Anyway, and in the southern hemisphere, it's getting close to, well, I don't know. Do they do, I don't know when they do. Yeah. Do they Christmas? Is it their Christmas time? Their Yule? I don't know. Yes, I think so. It's their winter solstice. So, that's the family time and food and all of that. I think the biggest thing that popped out to me from this chapter is the fact that they're on this new journey. And I do like where it says, finally, they were both ready. And it looks like they have everything they need. The Jeep packed with all this stuff. The clothing changes, or they want to go swimming, or gets the weather changes, might need a raincoat, or who knows what. But the biggest part here, I think, is the thing about, that Bunny and Kay had seen a downturn over the last cycle of their lives. And even though things seem to be looking very positive, it was one of those things, I think, where Bunny was like, is this a little bit like too good to be true? All these confirmations, all these signs that things are changing, is something going to like mess it all up again? Because she says, she thinks back to that memory of a long time ago where it seemed like her luck had been at its worst, that she never wanted to repeat that part of her life. So if the lessons have been learned, you typically don't have repeat lessons again. If your guides have told you like you're done with this lesson, it's not going to keep coming back to haunt you. There's going to be new. There's not even won't be any lessons. There's going to be new lessons of a different type. But the subject matter of the lessons you've just learned and finished with at the December time frame of last year, those aren't going to be coming back again. And so I think they probably were some lessons where you're like, I never ever want to have to go through that ever again in any lifetime. So it's like your other guides are like, nope, you're done with those. That's why you took time out in this lifetime to do the work and be done with it. And I think that's really it. I mean, it just seems like a week of kind of like, I guess, more unfolding of the new coming in. And maybe there is some firework moment coming up on your path. You never know when those are going to pop in. You never know when there's going to be some big, energy change, or it's time for you to retire, like the same ones we already said. You don't know when those are going to show up, and all you can do now, I think the best advice is just like just enjoy these successes and have fun with this time right now, regardless of who's in your life or not, regardless of it's like not exactly the way you want it to be. Because when something comes in that's what you've been wishing for all my life or whatever, something new will come along to take its place in terms of the something that you're dissatisfied with or want to be different. I don't think it's ever 100% perfect, because that's part of the art of manifestation. When we listen to Abraham Hicks and Esther Hicks channeling, she's like, that's why you came here, to be master manifestors. And part of manifesting is there's always this, you know what you don't want, so you know what you do want. And it's just like a little game, right? And so there's always going to be something you don't want, so that you know what you do want. Oh, I don't want that to be like that. I want this instead. It could be something minor, it could be something major. And so that's just part of the game of life, okay? And you kind of have to become this kind of like this Knight of Wands card, kind of like, all right, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. Not necessarily apathy, but just kind of like going with the flow. Like, okay, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. That's just the cyclical nature of life. That sometimes has nothing to do with you necessarily or anything you've done. Sometimes you are part of the larger web of ebbs and flows. Like we kept talking about this bear market, which I don't know if it hasn't come up again, but markets changing, things outside of your control still could possibly, impact your life in a certain way, but it's how you handle them that makes all the difference in how you see what's going on. All right, let me just check in and see if there's anything else they want me to share. Yeah, that's it. It just seems like a rather dreamy, kind of floaty kind of week. And you can either take that to be like nothing's happening, so nothing's going my way, or, excuse me, a bunch of stuff is happening behind the scenes, and, excuse me, and everything's going my way. And the more you can be thankful for what you have in your now reality and realize, it's the messages you always hear everybody saying, like everything's happening for you, not to you. And do that little kind of pattern interrupt. Like when you feel yourself going into like, nothing's working. Just look around, some of my guides, sometimes the guides are like, are you enjoying this moment right now? And I'll be like, maybe. And they'll always be like, well, how can you make it better? Even if it's just something small, like go get something you like to drink, or look out the window and look at your yard. Isn't it fun? Or, go look at your bike, or go on a bike ride. Look at your dog sleeping. She looks so cute. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's on the bed and the bed is so comfy. Just find some sort of pattern interrupt to get you out of the whole doldrums, if that's where you're going. Because it did kind of feel that way a little bit today. It wasn't like a bad feeling, but it was just kind of like, I know for me, like I'm the type of ambitious kind of goal-getting person to where when nothing seems to be going very quickly and things just are in this like placid kind of like everything's fine state, I can get a little irritated and anxious, like nothing's moving, nothing's happening. I'm just having another day where I'm just kind of hanging out doing the same old grind. This is what we started with, so they're bringing me back around in cycles. And they're like, well, that's just a good day in your life then, right? Nothing bad's happening. Nothing super duper amazing is happening unless you choose to see it that way. Like, hey, I'm alive. That's super duper amazing. So, hang in there. Everything's fine. Nothing's wrong. All the confirmations just coming back in to say that everything is going as it should be. And when there needs to be this firework moment based on the red thread of your life, the firework moment will come in and happen really without you having to do much of anything at all. So enjoy your week ahead. And I think that is all we have to share for you right now. I don't know what's coming up next in terms of Bringers of the Light or TLC for the Soul, what shows will be dropping next. But we'll definitely be doing something. So I will see you all somewhere on the interwebs at TLC for the Soul. And until then, take care.
This episode has been brought to you by Buns and Such, Tessa Locke's premium bakery and workout bar. Visit anytime during the week and enjoy a free mini workout session and chocolate-filled donut. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you again soon.